Welcome in to the latest episode of Betting the Pitch MLB edition. I'm your host, the real_G Warner, joined every Tuesday by @ABrooksBets. Though next week we were recording on a different day as we are working out a new timeline. I actually haven't figured out why. I assume @ABrooksBets has better things to do.
Going to Milwaukee to the Harley Davidson Museum for a work event. I'll be wearing biker gear. Stay tuned.
I feel like if there's ever a time to record a podcast, that might be the one.
I need an allowance for this, but yeah, I don't have biker gear. Anyway.
Okay. Well, biker or not, @ABrooksBets, you've been doing pretty well. Had a nice push on our episode last week. So we were 1-0-1, which undefeated will certainly make you never have to pay your bookie. How are you feeling about what we were just coming on to the show? A lot of teams that feel like they're all in a logjam.
This is exactly what the MLB wants, I feel like. This is this is the push. This is what it's like getting into the 7-team playoff scenario in each league, so 14 teams. There's a lot of people still in it. If you look at the leaderboard, kind of like you stack it up, all the AL and NL, they're really close. This is exciting to me.
6 teams, by the way.
When
6 teams. 6 in each league. 2 division winners.
Correct.
And
three wild cards. Right.
Yeah.
That's what I meant to say.
Yeah. I feel you. I feel like I heard something today that the chances of a team getting to 100 wins this year is like very, very slim. And I can't remember a year in Major League Baseball we didn't have a team that won over 100 games. I even remember a few years ago when we had multiple over 100 games, and I think might have been last year with the Orioles, which didn't go so well in the playoffs. But c'est la vie. So on this episode, we're going to go through all of the Wednesday baseball card, come up with some best bet winners as we've been providing for you all season. And if you're not following us on the Twitter, please do it @ABrooksBets. I'm at the real_G Warner, and of course, go leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify. Search for Betting the Pitch, because that's what we're doing, Betting the Pitch. So we'll start with, I guess, the Major League Baseball card for Wednesday. First game listed is actually funny to me because Zach Eflin has now gone on the IL.
Correct.
Now we have no game listed there. So we'll move next to the Red Sox @ABrooksBets and at the real_G Warner, actually, his favorite team if you had to pick one. But I'm wearing if you're watching on video, one of the greatest giveaways of the Rangers season, the World Series champion. And guess what? There's a hoodie on it, even though it's a t-shirt.
It's a vest hoodie? Oh, yeah.
It's not even a vest. This is the same shirt. It's just a white undershirt.
Oh, it just looks like a vest. I love it.
It's so stupid. What are these?
Is it that warm in Texas already? There's no way.
No, I mean, and it's cool? Short sleeve. So like, I saw Derek Kamerlocker wearing it in Detroit in a hoodie version. So now I guess I have the t-shirt one. He's gonna be really excited. I don't think he actually cares about baseball more than yelling at me for talking shit about the Rangers. But that's a whole nother story. So we'll start with the Red Sox. Cooper Criswell, he's visiting the Houston Astros, Justin Verlander. Looks like Verlander coming off the IL to make the start. Can't imagine he's going his usual 6 or 7 innings. But Verlander, a -140 favorite at home, totals 8.5, juice to over. We're in the middle of a wild game tonight. And of course, we're going to try to focus on Wednesday. Though I got to say that the Red Sox have gotten a lot of respect so far in this series. And now they start Cooper Criswell, though, and that's a little bit different of a scenario against Justin Verlander.
So I was at Fenway last Wednesday. It was the day that we recorded. We didn't get to the game on the podcast because they didn't have a line and didn't know who was going to pitch. Well, it was Tanner Houck, and he pitched all right. And then the Red Sox lost in a fashion that I can only describe as the worst, like the worst way. They were up by 3 with 2 outs and 2 strikes in the 9th inning. They did not bring in Kenley. I don't know if he was unavailable or if they thought that they didn't need him, but they let up a 3-run home run in the top of the 9th. They did not score in the bottom of the 9th. And we lost in extras with a home run by Heim, the catcher, on the first pitch of extra innings to go up by 2. Like it was the most miserable game at Fenway. Like it was fun until the 9th.
Well, you also mentioned that the Red Sox were unable to turn a double play to end the game, and then
there were defensive errors. There was Rafi Devers made an incredibly bad base running error. Like, he's a $300 million man. Anyway, it was not a place that I really wanted to see the Red Sox lose, and they lost it. Baseball continues on, right? We get different games, we get different matchups. Cooper Criswell, he's a soft thrower. He doesn't induce whiffs at all. Like, he's not really going to strike out guys. And this is Verlander's first start back since his I think neck discomfort, right?
Whatever.
So
It seems to be something different. I feel like I wake up with neck discomfort every day, but I'm also, I think he's older
yeah,
than
it's
us.
like a
He's 40
sleeping
plus.
injury. Is that like something you can do? He's 41. He's older than us by
Yeah.
far. Like, he's
Yeah.
way older than us.
Way older.
Way older.
Way older.
He's older than Schnitty.
Wow.
Um,
Wow. Shots fired. Old man Schnicker coming in here, hopefully.
I don't I see an over 8.5 here. That's my play. I don't like either of the. We've talked about this on this podcast. Guys coming off the IL might not be into it. Verlander threw 68 pitches, I think, in his rehab start. So maybe he's stretched out to about 80, 90, but he's not going to like go deep. The Astros are a better team probably than the Red Sox at this point, which we wouldn't have said in May. But here we are, over 8.5.
Speaking of sleeping on injuries, we've missed Alex Bregman for the last now 5 games for sleeping on his arm wrong. Apparently, led to some elbow inflammation.
Happens
I
to the
don't,
best of us.
I don't believe anything the Astros say about anything. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if they're still using buzzers, but I think at this point, I'm with you. Over 8.5 makes the most sense. Getaway day is a little bit scary for that, but I don't trust either of these pitching staffs like at all. It feels. Moving next, the White Sox, another team. I don't even know what to say about them. Garrett Crochet is starting at the San Francisco Giants and Logan Webb. Webb a minus 220 favorite, total 7.5, juiced pretty heavily to under. Crochet's, I guess, going 4 innings the rest of the season. I don't even know why he's pitching anymore. Just like cut your losses and trade him in the offseason because you somehow bungled
Agreed.
doing that at the trade deadline. But the Giants being a minus 220 favorite, Logan Webb's awesome, but this is an incredible number for how little the Giants have hit. I don't know how you advocate betting the White Sox at this point.
Well, Logan Webb's had a dominant 4-start stretch. I mean, it's been good for him, and he's one of those guys who you think can be great, and he really has been the last 4 starts. If the Giants are going to make any sort of postseason push, they're going to need him to keep doing it. And it's the White Sox, and it's Crochet. Like you said, he hasn't pitched more than 4 innings since July 1st. So he's on some sort of pitch count. I don't know why they still have him on their team. I guess he's team controlled for another couple of years, but he seemed like the White Sox just don't really even care about winning. I would go over 7.5 here because you're not really getting Crochet. You're getting Crochet for like 4 innings, but that's not enough. The White Sox bullpen is trash. Kopech's gone, and he's like dominating for the Dodgers now. Yeah. So I'm gonna go over 7.5 here. Webb has been good. It is in San Francisco, but I just don't think that Crochet. I think the Dodgers can do this. The Giants can do this by themselves.
Yeah, and to your point, daytime getaway day is a negative, but also daytime in San Francisco is when the ball does fly, and likely at least 4 innings of. I mean, even if Crochet, like, I don't know why he even sees a 5th inning, so you're probably getting 4 innings of a White Sox bullpen. Maybe the Giants can hit that. Moving next, the Minnesota Twins and Simeon Woods Richardson visiting the San Diego Padres and Matt Waldron. Pretty good matchup here. Waldron a minus 120 favorite at home. Pretty slight price for how well San Diego's been playing, though Minnesota's been getting a ton of respect in this series. Total's 8.5, just a little bit more to under. Are you a believer in Woods Richardson? Because he's not a swing and miss guy, but Waldron's a knuckleballer, which I feel like is a special type of hurt if you're betting him and he's not on that day.
Yeah, Woods Richardson's given up more than 3 runs in only 3 out of his 21 starts. Sure, 21 times. But he was hit hard last time against the Rangers. Waldron, on the other hand, he's given up 5 runs in 3 out of his last 4 starts. So this is the Twins and Padres. They are kind of the same team to me in kind of different leagues. It's
Okay.
although the Padres spend a lot of money on a lot of their players who aren't exactly contributing, but the Padres are winning. The Twins are winning. I like over 8.5 here too. Again, I kind of talked about this on the last podcast, but I'm looking at overs here as the season runs out and the pitchers' arms run out. I don't think hitters get as tired as pitchers do, especially when you got like guys, in the 100, 120, 150 inning mark. They might get a little bit tired when they haven't done this that much, especially these competitive innings. You talk about minor leagues, it's not really exactly the same. We'll get to that a little bit later. But I like the over 8.5 here, Twins Padres.
Yeah, I'm tempted by the Padres just because they've been a cheap price. Where it just doesn't feel like these two teams are that equal. And San Diego, I think, does matter. The Padres lineup, I think, is a lot stronger. And the Twins love to platoon. I was actually at Woods Richardson's last start on Friday in Arlington, where I got this beautiful half t-shirt, half hoodie. I still don't get it, but whatever. It is what it is, I guess.
Gorgeous, Griffin. It's
Thank
gorgeous.
you. Thank you. I'm just going to wear it around and hopefully that's when all the ladies will realize that I'm the one they want. But two teams, I think, as you mentioned, they're similar in both leagues, look like they're going to the playoffs. And honestly, I feel like could cause some trouble. I don't like really betting two good teams against each other because I feel like it's really hard to predict those outcomes. So maybe that means look towards the Twins. I just can't get over a San Diego price to only minus 120 at home. So that's the side I lean. Move next to the Colorado Rockies and Tanner Gordon visiting Mitchell Parker in the Washington Nationals. Two maybe mirror images, but same league. Teams nowhere near the playoffs. Nationals, actually, I guess I'm slighting because they're a lot better than the Rockies, record-wise at least. Parker minus 162 favorite at home. Totals 8.5, juiced all the way to over. We might see 9 before first pitch. Any interest in this game besides forcing you to talk about it?
Well, Mr. Gordon didn't make it out of the first inning against Arizona his last time out. And
No, he did not.
Mr. Parker is kind of like been a boomer bust guy. He's had 3 really bad outings and then 2 gems in his last 5. So I don't know. I looked up like the opponents and it doesn't really kind of match or whatever. Again, these are teams that aren't really going anywhere. So maybe they're just kind of like feeling out new things and trying new arms, and hopefully they're developing their players. I don't have a lean in this one.
We'll move next to the Cincinnati Reds and Nick Martinez is pitching very well, though I'm not sure what smoke and mirrors he's been using to do so. He's visiting the Toronto Blue Jays and Yadiel Rodriguez. Blue Jays minus 109 favorite at home. Very, very cheap price. Kind of matches what we saw today with Carson Spires at Jose Barrios. Totals 8.5 on this one, just a little bit more to over. The Reds had a good win Monday night, but got swept, I think, at home. I think it was 3 games, not 4, but swept at home by the Royals this past weekend after, I think, sweeping the Cardinals. So it seems like the Reds are a very streaky team right now. How are you treating them? Because I know other than the Red Sox, probably if you subtract the OX, they're your second favorite team in the league.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. Ellie has been slumping. He's 2 for his last 29, right? So, like, if your best player, my favorite player in the whole league, the most exciting player, I think, whether he's your favorite or not, I mean, the dude, if he's 15 for his last 29, they're winning a lot of those games. So he's a crazy person on the base paths and in the batter's box and doing all that. He's not really exactly hitting right now. But like you said, Nick Martinez giving up 4 runs in his last 28 innings. I mean, this guy kind of out of nowhere. He's giving them innings, I guess. The Reds, I don't know if they'll make the playoffs. It's kind of like last year. Like they're close, but they're not that close. But
No, no, no. I'll say no. I don't think there's any
probably
chance they're
not.
going to catch the
Probably not.
Mets or Braves because it looks like
But you
it's
know how I feel about the Jays. So give me the Reds in this one. Give
yeah,
me the Reds.
I think the Jays are too cheap. I did back Yadiel Rodriguez's last start, and he was getting bombed by none other than the Chicago Cubs. But eventually, the Cubs blew a save. By the way, since this is a pretty short card, I think we have a little bit more time to discuss. But of course, I'm sure going to run up against time. Did you see that the Cubs, speaking of, that they DFA'd their closer Hector Neris?
Yeah, I saw
Is
that.
there some other story behind that? Like he literally was closing on Friday and blew a save. Did he just like, I mean, did he
He
call?
must have like busted a cooler or like
Oh
broke his
yeah,
knuckles
that's
or something.
enough to
I don't know. I'm
DFA
just
your
guessing. I'm just
closer?
guessing.
I'm thinking he like went after Craig Counsell's ears or something like that and made some sort of joke about the most expensive manager in baseball who all he did was leave his team. Oh, they're still winning the division. And guess what? The Cubs are at least 10 games back because every team in the NL Central is that far behind right now. The 20 games over 500 Milwaukee Brewers. Wild, just wild scenes. I'm surprised by it. I guess we probably should move on. Phillies at Braves. This is a good one. I guess spirit of the Atlanta Braves. They're now down their first hitter, their second hitter, and their third hitter, all injured, done for the year. It looks like to me, Acuna, Albies, and uh, third baseman. I'm losing his name.
Riley. Austin
Yeah,
Riley.
Austin Riley. There we go. Thank you. Max Fried is on the bump though. He's back. Weird to see Max Fried still pitching and the rest of the team hurt. But I guess we'll see how long that lasts. Max Fried minus 108 favorite at home to the Philadelphia Phillies and Aaron Nola. Totals 8, juice all the way to over. First of all, what do you think about the Braves? And then what do you think about this number?
I feel so bad for the Braves, man. I mean, you just mentioned their best three hitters. Yeah. Also didn't mention Spencer Strider, which was a long time ago. I mean, geez, Louise, that's just not it's just not a recipe for success when you lose four out of your best six players for sure. I
Let
mean,
me
like
let me cut in also. I need to update the numbers here. So actually we have Nola plus 107 underdog now. Total still the same. So it looks like some money has come in on the Braves from when I was first looking at a line to where I just updated it now. Go ahead and finish your thought.
I like Aaron Nola in this spot. His strikeouts have kind of been fading, but I'm not really necessarily worried about that. This guy is like a 200 inning horse, right? Like he's pitched 200 innings, three different seasons. He's at 149 right now. So like he's not fading necessarily. Like this guy can do it. Max Fried, he's coming off this forearm injury where I feel like it's still, I mean, forearm injury is like the number one bad thing you can have as a pitcher. I mean, it's shoulder forearm starts and then UCL goes and it's just not good. Um, he's coming back from it. I claimed him with all my waiver dollars in my keeper league because I think Max Fried hopefully will bounce back from it. I had a bunch left at this time in the year, but man, I think he's still bothered by it. I don't. I just rather bet the Phillies. I think they're a better team because they're healthier, only because they're healthier, but they are much healthier, and that's the key thing here. I mean, I feel like the Braves have gotten like these football injuries where they got so many guys. Four out of their top six guys are just out, and that stinks for them. But I'm betting Phillies in this one.
Yeah, I think it does make sense to me that there may be some money coming in on the Braves based on maybe a bullpen advantage because I think there's still a lot of questions about what the Phillies are doing to close games right now. And it's funny because usually Nola is someone I try to bet against, but I think Max Fried, I think he's been striking out more hitters lately since he came off the IL, but the control really hasn't been there. So I think his just stuff is nasty and he doesn't really know where it's going. Not a great team to try to figure that out against the Phillies. Both these teams built for home runs. I think the Atlanta Park plays more to the Phillies, especially with their current lineup makeup. And I feel like it's a little surprising to me that the Braves are getting bet, but I will keep waiting and see how high this number will end up trending. Moving next to the Milwaukee Brewers and Tobias Myers at Kyle Gibson, the St. Louis Cardinals. Pretty much pick up right now, minus 106 on the St. Louis Cardinals side, minus 104 at BetOnline, Sportsbetting.ag. If you're not a member of either of those sites, please go follow the link in the podcast description, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and on YouTube. You get free money from those casinos, especially important before the baseball season wraps up and before we get into the NFL, college football, all that sort of stuff. Total here is 8, just a little bit to under. I'll remind you again, Milwaukee minus 104 with Tobias Myers versus minus 106, Kyle Gibson. It's kind of weird to see the Cardinals struggling so much so far behind the Brewers. So maybe the market just doesn't believe in Tobias Myers or the Brewers themselves.
Why not? I mean, at this point, rookie pitcher, sure, but two or fewer runs in 11 of his last 12 starts. Tobias Myers. Remember the name. Like, that's crazy. I mean, we haven't had much coverage of him on this podcast, but Boy, that's some serious stuff right there. Great rookie year. He's only at 99 innings so far this year, so it's not like hopefully he's not running into like a serious wall. Kyle Gibson's been good at limiting home runs. That's about it. And I know the Brewers don't hit a ton, but I love Tobias Myers here. Like I actually kind of was learning about him before this show, and like the Brewers might be doing it again. I feel like they develop great pitchers when they're young, and here we are. I know they're on the road, but I like them as basically this pick'em price right here. I like the
Yeah,
Brewers.
I'm with you. I like it too. Tobias Myers, I backed him against the Dodgers last start. He had a little trouble there, but very different lineup for the St. Louis Cardinals. Feels like St. Louis has gotten a lot of respect this entire season. They're still under 500, at least entering Tuesday, August 20th play. So I just never really believed in it. Saw Goldschmidt drop down to seventh in the order. He's got to be done, right? Is he retiring or is he like? I know his contract's up. You think anyone's gonna sign him to play DH? Like you think a proud man like that, Texas
Man,
Tech
this guy,
Bobcat,
this,
is gonna
this
be
guy used to
closing?
steal like 25 bases a year. He's from the Woodlands, Texas, representing. I know Jason Lou's listening.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, he's
it's just
flag.
he's our age, right? He's literally our age, so that means you're old. And I guess I guess something's not
Ouch,
happening.
ouch. Hmm.
You know,
You're right,
the
but
only person in the big leagues or in really all professional sports I feel like is older than us is like LeBron, Kevin Durant, and Paul Goldschmidt. I just feel like everybody else is younger that you see, but no,
yeah.
there's a few that are still hanging on. But man, once you get to, I feel bad because I drafted him high in fantasy leagues this year, thinking, oh, he'd rebound him and Nolan Arenado both, but I was kind of wrong about that. The Cardinals are hanging on despite their kind of struggles. I mean, they're what $400 million between the two. So,
Yeah,
um,
50 million just this season. So,
yeah,
hello. I mean, I guess that
interesting.
nowadays, what is that, an Aaron Judge or a Juan Soto or a Shohei Ohtani, I guess, at this point. But yeah, phew. I mean, it does make sense to me that there's a lot of these teams that the Major League Baseball betting market just doesn't seem to believe in. Maybe they don't believe in Tobias Myers. They haven't all season, it seems, but cheap price on a good team. And I
I
feel
do.
like if you're gonna lose, like they're much worse way back in the White Sox, a much easier or much harder way to take losing some doll hairs than betting a first place
Right.
team on the road who's been playing well against a team that isn't.
The
Two
Brewers are
games left.
running away with that division too. By the way, like
Yeah,
they're you
over
know
10 games, over 10 games out on every team in the division. So good for them. And I feel like it's deserved, honestly. Just get Kirk Counsell out of there and keep winning.
karma.
Karma, I guess. Still waiting for his next tribute video to be played because you couldn't hear any of the music. It was just booze and it was great. Move next, two games left on the card before we get to our best bets. Tampa Bay Rays and Ryan Pepio starting on the road at Oakland, and Mitch Spence will be trying to do his best, I guess. But two pretty disappointing lineups at this point. I might even like the Athletics better. The A's are plus 118 at home, totals 7.5, just a little bit more to under. You buy in Ryan Pepio on the road and the Rays on the wrong coast?
I was a buyer of Pepio at the beginning of the year. He got hurt. He had a knee infection
Yes, he did.
latestly. Is that a word? Latestly. Um,
Recently, maybe? Yeah. Uh-huh.
Most recently, he had a
Uh-huh.
knee infection. That's not arm trouble, that's like I
Right.
like fading guys with arm trouble off the IL. Like Verlander's got neck trouble. That's probably even closer to arm than
Hmm.
it probably is arm. But anyway, back to Pepio. Good stuff. I mean, two or fewer runs in 11 out of 18 starts. So, take that for what it is. It's more than half. I mean, more than half the time he's giving you a good start. The A's, this price seems cheap to me. Like, I know it's on the road, but minus 128, I go with the Rays here.
Yeah, I think the big question is what are you going to get from Mitch Spence? Because he is not very good. The nice part, though, is he's facing a pretty limited Rays offense. I mean, they are so bad with runners in scoring position, and it's a tough park to hit home runs in, which the Oakland Athletics are built for. So um, there's a lot of swing and miss in the A's, unfortunately, but I feel like they are. going to be one of those teams that I don't know if they're going to be in like the playoff race next year, but I do like what I've seen from Oakland so far. And who knows what a
That ballpark is going
what
to
a
be
Sacramento
crazy
is.
different, right? Yeah,
I mean,
Sacramento
literally,
minor league park might be a million. Like I'm sure the foul ball territory is a lot less, which is going to create probably an out of game or something. And so it's going to, or sorry,
and
eliminate an out of game.
and it's going to
And
be like 100 and something degrees, and
oh
there's clearly no
God,
dome in Sacramento. I mean, unless they're, I don't know what they're going to. It's going to be wild. I'm kind of looking
yeah,
forward to it. Like I know we do compete each other against
PCL
each other.
stats.
I literally, I feel like if Brent Rooker's not getting drafted number one, I guess I'll take him number two. Last game on the card, we'll go with the Seattle Mariners. That's a joke, but maybe it isn't. We'll see. Seattle Mariners and Logan
First or
Gilbert.
second round, maybe.
I mean, that would be monstrously high. But honestly, we might see a ton of runs there, and so maybe we're the worst
Right.
idea we've ever
Like
had.
the Blue Jays when they played at Solid Field in Buffalo, they just hit home runs like
Or
crazy
or
during
in
COVID.
Dunedin when in Florida, whatever that
Yep. Yep.
single A park
Yep.
was. Yeah, God,
Ballpark matters for sure.
we've come so far since COVID. It's
Yeah.
amazing. Oh my gosh.
Toronto couldn't even go back to their home city. They just played MLB baseball in America because they couldn't even do it.
Yeah.
Wild.
Hey, I guess COVID did exist to some, but
Keep
and
going.
now all of a sudden our ratings are please leave a 5-star review now that
Sports
you've purchased
podcast,
this.
Griffin.
Yeah.
Sports.
Now that the politics have come in, please leave a 5-star review and tell us how exactly where you want us to vote. Maybe that'll
Yeah.
help get more 5-star reviews. I don't know. Okay, last
Kamala
game.
versus Trump. Good luck, America.
Yeah, good luck, America. Yeah, last game on the list before we get canceled is Seattle Mariners Logan Gilbert starting at the Dodgers in Jack Flaherty, the Burbank, I think, native. Got pictures of him every time he starts with his Dodgers onesie as a kid. Romantic, yippee, wahoo. But Flaherty minus 160 favorite at home, total 7.5, juiced pretty heavily to under. We might see this fall to 7, which might be the lowest total I can remember for the Dodgers, especially with an offense that now has Max Muncy back in it. He hit a home run in his debut or his return, reinstated day from the IL. Tommy Edmonds somehow finding a way into that lineup. And of course, Freddie Freeman's playing with a broken finger just after I basically got eliminated from the fantasy baseball playoffs when Mookie Betts returned. So thank you for all that working all together. But Logan Gilbert, like 1.5 to 1 odds to like that's probably the biggest number I've ever seen on Logan Gilbert, and I've been a truther for a while.
He has the most quality starts of any pitcher all year, right? Like Logan Gilbert's been great. I look at this game and I really wanted to bet the Dodgers because
Oh,
Jack
okay.
Flaherty has the strikeout stuff, right? He has the swing and miss stuff, and that's where the Mariners are susceptible. And I look at this number and I'm like, well, the Mariners are pretty good. The Dodgers are obviously really good. This is the Mariners maybe bet. I mean, the Mariners have good pitching. I think the Mariners. Hopefully they missed the playoffs based on yours and
Yes.
I's future bets.
Yes, please.
But man, this is too much. I got to take the Mariners. I mean, I'm not probably going to bet this, but I do want to watch this game, even though it's going to be at 11 p.m. my time. It's like this could be good. Yeah,
I think this is one
I'm
of
gonna watch
those.
this one.
This is one of those. You go to bed at your like 8 p.m. whatever time bingo ends, and then you wake up in the morning and throw it on MLB TV, and there it is. Just don't open your phone. It's a tough world, but I'm telling you, if you want and you put the effort in, you can hide.
I do that for college basketball.
Okay.
If you guys ever want me for Big East Bend, I'll do the next morning at 6 a.m. because I'll watch Texas, who tips off at 9 our time and whatever. Like I wouldn't even watch it till the next morning. And you can fast forward through real quick. I understand.
Yep.
This game I might not do that for, but I do understand the sentiment.
I just feel because I backed Brian Wu last night, who was awesome. Made one mistake to Gavin Lux, who's also hitting the ball like incredibly well. And then in comes Jimmy Garcia to just completely destroy everything. And he's given up a home run in his last 4 appearances. So Seattle, if they make the playoffs, like I think it's going to be the Astros playing baseball like they did on Monday night. or somehow Seattle just playing the rest of their games in Seattle. Because, I mean, going to Detroit and to Pittsburgh, winning 1 of 6, and that it was the last game of the Sunday game. Now they go to the Dodgers. I mean, this could be a playout series. That's what I'm certainly hoping for, with a plus 135 ticket on them to miss the playoffs. We'll see if that goes. But I did not expect them to go on such a run, sweep the Mets, only allowing 1 run in an entire series. That did not make me feel great, but the recent run-in certainly has. So you've made it to the end of our, I guess this is a pretty abbreviated Wednesday card. We're missing a ton of numbers, unfortunately, because we have a ton of unknown starting pitchers. I think Corbin Burns might get moved up to pitch instead in Zach Eflin's spot. We'll see. But one thing is we still have a little bit more time in this pod before we get to our best bets. At A Brooks Bets, do you want to guess who's projected to pitch for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim tomorrow? It's a name that has been around Major League Baseball for a while, but I don't think it's shown up yet this year.
Then I probably don't know.
Johnny Cueto.
Johnny Cueto. Is he gonna do like the whole Rocky Rock thing? I like that. He's like a Nestor Cortez from the right side. Well,
Yeah,
Nestor Cortez probably learned from him. He's older, but
yeah, I think he did. Well, hopefully he doesn't do it with a man on third base, get called for a balk the one time that I bet him on as a Giants pitcher against the Dodgers. And the let's just say the umpires weren't really on board with his trick shenanigans, all those sort of things. So it's time for our best bets. We do this
wait a
every
second. We got a little bit.
Okay. What do you got for me?
Let's talk big picture. Come on.
All right, let's do it.
We got a lot to. Keep seeing these graphics where like this is the tightest year, right? Like there's 18 teams. I don't know. I'm making these numbers up, but there's like 15 teams within 8 games of like the major league lead in wins. I mean, like there's a lot of teams that are all tied up. Now some of the divisions have fallen off, and so some of the division races are all filled up. But I mean, you got the Yankees, the Orioles, the Red Sox don't even qualify 8 games back of both of them. I mean, the Guardians, the Royals, the Twins, the Astros, the Mariners, the Rangers don't even qualify. They're not even that close. The Phillies, the Braves, the Mets, the Brewers, the Dodgers, the Padres, the Diamondbacks. I mean, there's a lot of teams out here who think they have a chance. Who do you think might be like a sleeper? Or who's the dark horse? Who's making a run? Who's the team that, man, I can't believe I didn't bet them right now.
I mean, I've had the feeling that the Guardians are not going to win the Central. I thought it was going to be the Twins that would overtake them, but the Royals are right there. And I mean, I've been looking personally. I haven't played anything, so I haven't put anything out there, but I've been looking at and following pretty closely the World Series odds for both the San Diego Padres and the Arizona Diamondbacks. The problem is that they're projected to finish 4th and 5th and play each other the first round of the playoffs. And I don't really have a good feeling on who wins that. And then, unfortunately, they're projected to then get the Dodgers in round 2, which the Diamondbacks swept them last year. It's certainly not impossible. Definitely a devil they know. But just looking at how that stacks up, you'd have to go through whichever one of the wild cards does not make it, then the Dodgers, and then likely the Phillies if seeds hold. So I just like back in the day when I had picked in 2019, I picked the Nationals when they're in a 1-game wild card playoff game, play-in game. And back then, I think it was like 22-1 or something like that to win the World Series. I just don't feel like those numbers are as much around anymore, especially after seeing these playoffs where any team can make it, which does make me think the long shots are worth it. I would be very nervous if I was the Orioles right now, if I was the Yankees. I feel like those are 2 teams I'd like to be against.
Against the Yankees and the Orioles. I like that. I mean, the Twins have no chance to beat the Yankees. They literally never have.
They haven't in the past, that's for sure.
I mean, that would be something, right? Cool. The Royals, I've been on them a little bit. Like I think they're young, and maybe it's not quite their year, but that's what everybody said about the Diamondbacks last year, who, you know, they were young and whatever, and they had a couple pieces fall in their place. What I like was that you said was the Padres. The Padres to me are a team that, yeah, they're second in their division. They're 3 games back. But man, they're trying to win. They've got that culture. They got Xander Bogarts, and he's my World Series champion, from 2018. He's not like their best player really, but they get some serious production from some of the guys that they've spent a lot of money on. Who's the guy from the White Sox? Not Blake Snell. They traded him. The other guy.
Dylan Cease.
Dylan Cease. That guy can shut anybody down. I like the Padres as a dark horse here. If you get a good price on them, think about it.
Yeah, last time I looked, the Padres were about half the odds of the Arizona Diamondbacks. To me, I think the Padres are better. They have a more trustworthy bullpen. I don't really see why they're double as likely, essentially, if you reverse that out, why they would be more likely to win it at such a rate versus the Arizona Diamondbacks, honestly. But, both teams good shouts, and I think that leads us right into our best bets. So before we get into best bets, please follow us on the Twitters at @BrooksBets, at @the_real_G Warner, the real_G Warner, across all platforms where you can find our podcast in full on YouTube. If you want the Apple Podcast or Spotify version, go to Betting the Pitch on either of those platforms. You can get those, sign up, subscribe, make sure they're in your inbox as soon as or in your app as soon as you open them. And of course, we will be with you the rest of the season, though we'll announce our scheduled update for our next episode, as that Brooks Bets is going to be wearing his leathers or something like that. And apparently it's not date night. Lead us off at Brooks Bets, your best bet for this August 21st card.
Wins Padres over 8.5. Woods Richardson.
Yeah, go ahead.
He's only given up 3 runs in 3 out of his 21 starts. I get it. Yeah. But he was hard hit last time against the Rangers. I like the Padres. I like the Twins offense. I like both of their offenses more than their pitching staff. Waldron, I don't really believe in that much anymore. He's kind of like one of their innings eaters where it could get kind of ugly. 3 out of the last 4, he's given up 5 runs. So I'm going to go over 8.5. Twins, Padres, my best bet.
Hey, this is the real_G Warner on Instagram, Patreon, Twitter, and on YouTube. And you are watching, listening, all those sort of things with Betting the Pitch MLB edition with Brooks Bets. He is 8-3, his last 11 best bets, coming off a push in his last one. We are 15-8, 65% our last 23. So make sure if you're not following us already, do so at Betting the Pitch on all the places you get your podcast, at the real_G Warner on YouTube. And of course, stick with us for our next episode next week. But these are our best bets. We're grading exactly how we do each week. Brooks is on a good run. He gave you the Twins and the Padres over 8.5 runs on Wednesday, August 21st. I'm at the real_G Warner on Instagram, Patreon, Twitter, and on YouTube. For my best bet, I'm going to go up to America's Tuch, or our neighbor. I'll take the Toronto Blue Jays minus 109. Yadier Rodriguez, I think he pitches the way he has, and Nick Martinez comes down to earth. And that'll do it for this episode of Betting the Pitch. Thank you for tuning in for yet another episode. We'll be back again next week at an unknown time, unknown location, and maybe we'll get a preview of Eddie Brooks Betts and his motorcycle riding outfit. We'll see y'all later. Thanks so much, and please leave a 5-star review.